Sandra, I want to start at the beginning. And the founder of Mormonism is Joseph Smith. And he got revelation from God, supposedly, in a very interesting way. And I don't think the folks know what that way is. How did the Book of Mormon, how did the different scriptures of Mormonism come into being? Start us off at the beginning.
Well, when Joseph Smith was a teenager, he was involved in folk magic. And he found a stone in a well that he claimed was like a crystal ball. And if he put the stone in a hat, he could look at that and determine where lost property was. And so you could pay him to walk across your property and see if there's any gold or silver buried there. Well, then when he supposedly has his vision of the angel coming and telling him about the Book of Mormon record, supposedly there was special instruments saved with the plates that would help him translate the record. But he only used that for the first part of the Book of Mormon, and then he switched over to using his stone that he found in the well to translate the Book of Mormon. So all that we have of the Book of Mormon today supposedly was done with this magic stone he had used in his money digging practices. And he would put the stone in his hat, pull his hat up over his face, and supposedly as he looked at this stone, it would have been like a text message on a phone. All the words came across there, and he would just read this to a scribe. Now, most Mormons haven't heard this description of the translation, but this is what the witnesses said that were in the room. His wife, the witnesses to the Book of Mormon, described reading each word off of this stone, like a text message off your phone, to his scribe for the Book of Mormon. And if they spelled a word wrong, then he wouldn't get the next word. And so he'd have to stop and figure out what they wrote wrong.
Yeah, so he would actually read, it's like a little page coming up, like you say, a text. A page would come up like parchment, and he thought he was reading this scroll, whatever that he would call it, gold plates. And the fact is, a line would come up, and underneath it would be the translation of the line. And he would give the translation to the guy that was doing the inscribing. And then the guy would have to repeat it to him, and that message stayed on the stone until the guy, Joseph Smith said, "That's correct. You got it absolutely right." Then the next part of the message would come up. He'd read that, he would translate that, and that would go in. And so this is how you got the script, page after page after page. Now, it also is supposed to be direct revelation from God. Isn't that correct?
Right.
And if it's direct revelation from God and it's written down, then that should be the Word of God. It stands firm and fast, and it shouldn't be changed.
One would think, yes. The Book of Mormon is claimed to be the most correct book on earth. And yet we find that between the first printing and the next printing in 1837, there were thousands of word changes made in this. Well, if God dictated this to Joseph Smith in a very strict sense, then how could you go back later and make corrections to the text? But this is true of all of Mormonism. Joseph Smith's revelations in the Doctrine and Covenants have been edited and redone as well. The temple ceremony has been redone as well. Everything in Mormonism has gone through revision, which brings you back to why isn't the God of Mormonism able to do it right the first time? In fact, this was one of the problems I had when I first started studying about Mormonism, was seeing that Joseph Smith had to correct his revelations, correct the things that God revealed to him. If he was a prophet of God, if God were speaking to this man, he wouldn't have to go back and revise it all the time.